March 27. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has made adjustments to the cabinet. Dr. Horace Chang moves to the Ministry of National Security. He was previously the minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Robert Montague moves to the Ministry of Transport and Mining. He held the portfolio of National Security. Lester Mike Henry moves to the Office of the Prime Minister, Minister without portfolio, from the Ministry of Transport and Mining. Audley Shaw moves to the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. He moves from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Dr. Nigel Clark is to be appointed Minister of Finance and the Public Service. Fayval Williams is to be appointed Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service. Minister Williams previously held the post of Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service. Carl Samuda moves to the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation from the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. The Prime Minister also announced changes in the junior minister ranks. Alando Terrilong is to be appointed Minister of State in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. Xavier Main is to be appointed Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. Parnell Charles Jr. moves to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. He previously held the post of State Minister in the Ministry of National Security. Rudyard Spencer moves to the Ministry of National Security. He previously held the post of Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service. All the members of the Cabinet previously appointed remain in their respective portfolios. New Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang has declared that he's up to the task. Speaking with the press shortly after it was announced that he will replace Robert Montague in the post, Dr. Chang said he willingly accepted the new portfolio. The new minister says he will restore confidence in the national security and is expecting a smooth transition. Dr. Chang said one of his immediate areas of focus was the restoration of confidence. Opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips says the Holness administration has set the country back in its development over the last 2 years of its administration. While addressing party supporters at a recent meeting of the PNP's National Executive Council at the Jamaica Conference Center in downtown Kingston, Dr. Phillips said, despite the PNP setting a strong foundation, the Jamaica Labour Party has floundered in managing the country. He says for the first time, a Prime Minister has spent 2 years in office without giving a report on their accomplishments. Dr. Phillips also once again attacked the Holness administration for what he says is a lack of viable solution to Jamaica's crime problem. He said the declaration of a state of emergency in St. James and St. Catherine North is not a policy direction, but an acceptance of failure. The government of Jamaica has partnered with the United Nations to launch the global Blue Heart campaign against human trafficking. The campaign is an international awareness initiative by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime to fight human trafficking and its impact on society. It seeks to encourage involvement and inspire action to help stop the crime. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice and Chair of the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, Carol Palmer, said she is pleased that Jamaica is the first English-speaking Caribbean country to partner with the UNODC. The Permanent Secretary was speaking at a press briefing held at the Ministry's Content Spring Road offices this week. The official launch of the campaign will take place on Wednesday, March 28 at 5 p.m. at the Emancipation Park in Kingston. Prominent manufacturer William Food has come out in support of an initiative to pay for the return of plastic bottles as one measure to stem their improper disposal. Mr. Mafood, who is a leading producer of soft drinks and bottled water, among other items, is all for the scheme of the arrangement to pay for the return of plastic bottles, announced last week by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. At the same time, he says he's strongly against the banning of styrofoam containers, which is another measure being pushed to protect the environment. He says producing an environmentally friendly container will prove too costly for customers at this time. Applications for 3 employment programs are now open. The programs target persons aged 17 to 34 and is being executed through an alliance between the Heart Trust NTA, the National Youth Service NYS, and the Jamaica Foundation for Lifelong Learning. Speaking at a recent JIS think tank session, Director of Communications and Marketing for NYS, Julia Green, explained the purpose of the program.
That the program is more about providing experience and giving you an opportunity to get engaged for national development, for national service, to become a volunteer. Yes, we provide a stipend, but we want persons to focus more on the bigger value and the bigger picture that is provided through the program by making you more attractive as a potential worker that an employer will want in their workforce.
The 3 programs include the Hope Youth Summer Work Program, which targets youth between the ages of 17 to 29. The goal of this program is to offer young people personal and professional development training for the course of 3 months, June, July, and August. The second, the Empowerment Program, targets Jamaicans between the ages 17 to 34 with any kind of disability. The participants will undergo a 3-week non-residential camp, which will prepare each individual for the upcoming 6 months placement in the working sector.
After that 3-week non-residential camp, there is a 6-month placement period for the participants of the empowerment program. This is where they are placed in a job site that we usually have through partnerships with different stakeholders.
The third program is the National Service Corps, which targets youth between the ages 18 and 24. It will provide training plus job placements, government-related institutions at some private businesses between 6 to 12 months. The goal of this program is to contribute to Jamaica's social and economic development as well as personal development. Miss Jamaica Universe Davina Bennett has been chosen as the face of Shea Butter's Jamaican black castor oil line of products. The 22-year-old was the second runner-up in the 2017 Miss Universe pageant and created a stir with her afro. In a recent interview with Vibe magazine, she said, quote, "Even in Jamaica, the Ministry of Education is lobbying to have natural hair in schools. It's now a debate amongst the boards to get Afro hair in schools. A lot of the schools and workplaces, people are told to pull back your hair because it doesn't look properly groomed. It doesn't look professional. It's not elegant. So I can say the tables are turning. The tables are turning, and a difference is definitely going to be made." End quote. In regional news, the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Caribbean Export, in cooperation with the European Union, is gearing up to provide grant funds to the CARIFORUM private sector. Over the next few months, Caribbean Export will be sensitizing business and business support organizations across the region on the process to apply under the Direct Assistance Grant Scheme, a reimbursement grant funding facility specifically designed to provide financial assistance to legally registered firms and individuals with the potential to export their products and services ahead of the open call for proposals on April 23. And in sports, head coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore expressed disappointment with his team's profligacy in front of the goal during the friendly international against Antigua and Barbuda at Sabina Park on Sunday evening, but maintains that the team remains on course to achieve its goals. In the 1-1 draw, Jamaica's Reggae Boys were off target in an almost shambolic way, missing chance after chance, which added to the frustration of fans who came to witness a goal fest against the perceived minnow of the regional game. Sunday's match was the first game for the boys on home soil in over a year. And that's it for the news. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start as usual with our local currents. We're looking at Kingston's forecast for the day. We're seeing that the temperature is going to be between 23 and 30 degrees out today, so it's going to be pretty warm. We're seeing a forecast of sunny skies. The sun is set to go down at 6:33 p.m. and the temperature this evening is a cool 23 degrees Celsius. Let's take a look at what's happening in the western end of the island. Over in Montego Bay, we're seeing a forecast of possible rainfall throughout the day in certain areas. We're also seeing a temperature between 23 and 27 degrees Celsius during the day. Some areas the temperature is set to go down to a low 6 degrees Celsius this evening as the sun sets at 6:33 p.m. And across the island, we're looking at the rest of the parishes. Forecast for today: cloudy conditions and possible rainfall in certain areas. We're also seeing sunny skies though for Maypen and Clarendon. Temperatures between 27 and 33 degrees Celsius, with Black River St. Elizabeth scoring the highest temperature forecast for today. In our forecast for tomorrow across the island, we're looking at possibility of showers across several parishes and cloudy conditions elsewhere. We're looking at temperatures between 27 and 33 degrees Celsius. In our regional forecast, we're looking at temperatures between 23 and 34 degrees Celsius across the Caribbean. We're also seeing cloudy conditions across several countries as well. We could get some rainfall if we're headed over there to St. George's, Grenada. And further afield on our travel planner, we're looking at the United States. We're seeing possibility of rainfall for Miami, sunny skies for Los Angeles, cloudy conditions, but sunny conditions in some areas for New York. And we're also seeing temperatures between -1 degree Celsius, a high of 24 degrees Celsius for certain areas in the United States tomorrow. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.